Okay, ShootMania, tell me about it, Barnes, because I've not played it.
You've seen me play it?
I've seen you play it, but...
It's classic Twitch shooter. So if you like Quake, if you like Unreal, then you're going to like this.
Review done.
Yeah, go get it. It's only £16. You can get that. It's fine. It's good. It's a good game. Some of the maps aren't particularly varied, but this is a good mod actually. I think it's called Storm. Basically requires you to capture a central pole, and it's in the centre of the map, obviously. Basically once that's done, the tornado comes in and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
The tornado comes in?
Yeah, tornado. Basically, if it hits anyone, you're kind of out. So everyone starts to converge on the kind of central area, which you'll see coming up as I play this.
So is the area you play and gets smaller and smaller? Basically,
yeah, and you all end up fighting in this central area here. You can see the clouds coming in, it gets intense.
I mean, this has got a few weird modes, hasn't it?
It's got, you don't have the classic kind of capture the flag or team deathmatch or any of that. It's they're all kind of original. This is the most original one, but you get one that's it's similar to Domination, but you take in turns to attack during the same round.
Just going back to what you said earlier about the maps being the same, I mean, I've obviously not played this, but I've seen the screenshots, and the maps did look to have the same kind of theme as that one, where it's kind of like got the grass and those sort of buildings. Is there really not that much variation in the maps?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem with the way Nadio's dealing with these Mania games, is that I don't know if you're aware of Trackmania, but they did Trackmania Canyon, and that had the same problem where everything was kind of Grand Canyon themed and it's all brown and dusty. It's nice to have that aesthetic, but then you get maps that just look very similar. And there's a bit more variation in this, but the focus on Storm is kind of all kind of dusty and green and stuff like that. So the maps themselves, design-wise, don't really change. The biggest problem is the fact that the way the maps are designed, in that because of the mod, everything has to focus on the centre of the map. And so it's very symmetrical, it's very kind of similar regardless of the map you're playing. You know you have to rush to the centre.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds like I'm being negative, but it's actually, I mean, it's a brilliant fun game.
And this is going to seem like a really obvious question, especially as you've already referenced Quake and Unreal, but there are no perks, everyone starts with the same weapon, etc, etc.
Yeah, basically, I mean, there are 3 weapons you can get. So you see this basic laser cannon type thing, that's the one that most people use, and with that you can jump around. It's about kind of predicting...
Is that its official name, basic laser cannon type
I think
thing?
So, yeah, it's in the manual somewhere. But yeah, that's the main one that you want to use. It's about predicting movement, hitting someone before they move there, basically. But you see here I've switched to a cannon shot, and it depends on the different types of panels. This one is a laser one, that one's a cannon, hit me with it. And it's kind of confusing to run between the different panels. But you learn where they are, but you still have to use them in different ways. And if you don't know the maps, and because obviously everyone can create their own maps, it's not always the easiest method.
Yeah. What about for someone who didn't grow up with those kind of old school FPS games? How hard will this be for them to get into?
I don't think they'll get into it at all. I think if you're kind of weaned on a culture of Call of Duty and Battlefield, this will be totally alien to you. I don't know if anyone playing Call of Duty now and hasn't played Unreal or Quake will actually appreciate ShootMania, because it's so reliant on skill. It's as pure as a multiplayer FPS can get.
And you really think they won't be able to get into it?
Well, I mean, I think there will be some people who do, but I think if that's the only FPS game that most people play, which it is, I mean, Call of Duty sells millions, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it'll just be so alien to them as a concept. Yeah. Just because, although it relies on a lot of the same mechanics, it is very, very different.
Here's that tornado thing you're talking about, right?
Yeah, most of the matches end like this because I don't always
survive. It looks a little bit Benny Hill.
Well, it is, because you have 2 people sidestepping between this one pole. But when you're actually playing that, it's really intense. That's where the game's at its best, because obviously one false move and you hit and you're out. But if you get the shot right, then you win, and so it's quite an intense game for that.
But yeah, it was interesting what she plays, because this is the kind of FPS I grew up with. Obviously now things have moved on to Call of Duty and Battlefield, like you say. But seeing you play this, I think now I'm 30 and my reactions are slowing down. I don't think I'll be able to hang with the kids playing this anymore.
I think it does rely on that kind of... I mean, I know I appreciated it more because I did play a lot of Unreal when I was younger, so
yeah,
I appreciate being able to play this game. Because I mean, I like Call of Duty for what it is, but it does feel a little bit kind of complex and convoluted these days. I mean, it's all about the right weapons.
It's a specific kind of FPS, and this is just another specific kind of FPS.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and you don't get many of them anymore. So I think that's why it's a little bit difficult for people to get involved.
I mean, what about the skill levels of people online who are playing this?
Well, I was playing before it was officially released, so it was.
Ooh.
it was a mixture of people. It was people who were also playing it for the first time, like me, but also a lot of kind of skilled, must have been beta testers or even Nadio players.
Yeah.
Mostly French because it's a French game, but yeah, it was mixture. It does a good job of matchmaking actually, because it ranks you on as you're playing. Every single round you're ranked on how well you did, both on how many hits you had and how long you survived.
Yeah.
And so you're skilled in the country, in the world, in the region. So I think I was 48th best in southwest England when I finished playing.
The best in South Bournemouth, though, right?
Obviously, yeah. There's no one else that can compete in Bournemouth, and I dare you all to try that. But yeah, it does a good job of telling you if the match you're joining is going to be tough or not, which I think is all it really needs to tell you. And I don't think it has to. Like Call of Duty, obviously tries to pitch you with people at the same level.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessary for this because it's so reliant on skill.
And I'm going to ask this, even though I know the answer: is there a single-player mode?
No, there is not. Not unless you count
asking.
making your own maps as single player.
Oh, can you make your own maps in this?
Yeah, well, this is a large part of it. It comes with a map tool creator, which is good. It works well, but it's all tile-based, so it lacks some of the kind of freedom that you might want when creating a map. When I was younger, I used to make Unreal maps. And that's obviously proper engine development, and they couldn't include something like that in this, but you kind of understand the mechanics behind making a map when you have that much freedom. But with this being so tile based, it means that you might want to put a light in the middle of somewhere and you can't because there's another piece there. That you want to be an important path or things like that.
But I'm guessing if it's tile based, that means it's easy to use as well.
Well, there's two modes. There's a simple one, which is you have about 9 different tiles, and there's advanced, where you have all the options available to you. You can really mix and match them. But yeah, it's a good system, good available for everyone basically. How useful it'd be for the community going large. I mean, TrackMania kind of built itself on the community, so I don't know if ShootMania will do the same, and that's hard to tell because the tools are very similar and they're very good, but at the same time, you don't really know what the community's going to do with it.
Okay, so the review's up on NowGamer.com at the moment. You gave it 8.5?
I did, yes.
Who would you recommend this to?
Well, again, I'd recommend to a lot of people who really appreciate the classic Twitch shooters. I think that's who this is best targeted at. But at the same time, I think anyone could get into it if they want to try something different that isn't Call of Duty or something that's heavily reliant on skill and learning a lot of tactics involved. Then I think people like that would really get a lot of it. And like I said, it's only £16, so you're not spending a lot to get a really kind of intense multiplayer game.